Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think we'll get started on our webinar. Thank you for taking the time to sign up today and join us. My name is Dave Arbuckle. I'm the Executive Director for the Association of Municipal Managers, Clerks, and Treasurers of Ontario, or AMCTO for short. I'm also joined by Sarah Fairley from MyTax as well, and she'll say a few words in a little bit. But I did want to just say thank you for joining us. AMCTO and MyTax are very excited to provide you with the information today about our MIIP, our Municipal Innovation Internship Program. Let's get started. So just a few housekeeping reminders. So first, this presentation is being recorded. A copy of the slides will be sent out to participants after this call and posted along with the recording on our MIIP landing page. Second, microphones and videos have been disabled for the purpose of this webinar. However, we do welcome participants to pose their questions in the Q&A box, which is located at the bottom of your screen. We'll look to answer questions at the end of the presentation. Please use this opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. Sarah and I are here to answer any questions from an AMCTO or MyTax perspective. We want to support you the best way we can to ensure that you have a seamless application process. And third, if you are having any technical difficulties during the time, you can post them in the chat, and AMCTO staff are here to help you through that if we can on our end. So we'll start today by providing you with an overview of the MIIP program. We'll discuss the overall goals, outcomes, and benefits of the program, as well as the 12 municipal internship projects opportunities that are available. We'll talk a bit about student eligibility and requirements in the application process, the important role that the academic supervisors play in the program, as well as any key application deadlines. As you will see from the slide, there is a hyperlink to the 2026-2027 application guide, which is posted on the MIIP landing page. We strongly encourage you to have this guide and web page open simultaneously, as we will be referring to it periodically through the webinar. And as I mentioned earlier, we will then take some questions at the end. So please put them in the Q&A box, and we'll wrap up with some by highlighting how you might contact AMCTO or MyTax if you need any additional information through the application process. So AMCTO and MyTax are proud to provide 12 paid 8-month part-time internships for post-secondary students. These internships begin January 1st, 2027 and end August 31st, 2027. The part-time positions will pay students a research stipend of $30,000. These opportunities are open to any post-secondary students in Ontario that are eligible to participate in the MyTax Accelerate program. For more information and specifics, please click the link on the slide. Note that the term part-time is mentioned as less than 30 hours per week in the guide. However, the exact number will vary based on the role and job responsibilities. As such, the exact hours will be determined or are to be determined by the municipality in collaboration with the student prior to the internship starting. These positions are available in 12 different municipalities across Ontario, and we'll go over a slide in a little bit to outline some of those available projects. Students must be involved in the applications for phase 2 and phase 3 of the project. The phase that we are currently in, phase 2, is the student application phase. Until July 24th, 2026, students are welcome to review and submit applications for up to 3 of the 12 municipal projects that are available on the AMCTO website. We should note, though, however, that the MIIP intends to provide a variety of different projects to as many students as possible. Therefore, only one project per student will move forward to the final selection phase. Also, the internship requires a maximum of 4 in-person visits by the student to the host municipality. So that's something as students you should keep in mind in relation to which projects you're applying to, because you will have to travel to those municipalities periodically. Students who are successfully matched with a municipality will also need to be heavily involved in the MITAX funding application, or phase 3. Note that there's a pretty quick turnaround, August 7th to 21st, for those MITAX applications. So which is why it's important. You really just need to be aware that the application needs to be complete by August 21st. So think a little bit about that in relation to your summer and your availability during that time frame. Once the application is submitted, MITAX will evaluate, and the students that are successful will be onboarded with the municipality in November and December of 2026. And again, the intention is for the internship to start January 1st and to end August 31st, 2027. So with that overview provided, let's take a step back and discuss the overall goals and outcomes of this program. The goal of the MIIP is to support the development of the next generation of staff leadership in the Ontario municipal sector, while encouraging innovation in local government. The intention behind the program is to connect municipalities in Ontario with post-secondary talent that can help them address some of their most pressing challenges. It also creates increased connections between post-secondary population and local governments to assist with their broader recruitment challenges within the sector. It is important because Ontario's municipalities rely on over 235,000 employees from a variety of professions and fields to build and maintain local infrastructure, as well as deliver local services that Ontarians rely on every day. I've spent, 20 plus years now in the broader sort of municipal sector, and I'm so pleased that AMCTO has had an opportunity to be able to reach out to post-secondary education, to be able to let people know about the variety of opportunities that exist within the sector. It's not a single position that ultimately municipalities are looking for. They're looking for people with accounting and finance backgrounds. They're looking for engineers. They're looking for planners. They're looking for political science degree people. They're looking for any variety of different skill sets to bring into the municipality. If there's something that you're studying, there's likely an opportunity for you within the sector. So AMCTO is really proud of our ability to be able to provide these opportunities to you. I'm going to turn it over to Sarah just for a moment, just to talk a little bit about MITAX and their interest in the MIIP. Sarah?
Yeah, thank you, David. So, for those that aren't familiar with MITAX, we're a national organization that helps to fund work between Canada's academic institutions and organizations from outside of academia, like the Ontario municipalities and AMCTO, who are collaborating through this initiative. And our main funding mechanism and the way that we help to support these collaborations is by funding internships. So MITAX is a co-funding partner along with your host municipalities on this initiative. And so we're very happy to be a partner on this initiative. This going into this second year, we see that AMCTO is doing a wonderful job in helping to connect young people with different career pathways in the municipal sector, and also helping municipalities do things in new ways, be a little bit more innovative, and bring on the talent that they need to help to do things differently, to modernize systems. So I think it's a really exciting opportunity for students to be involved in the initiative, and we're very happy to support. And I'll also be around to help answer questions at the end of the webinar. So and particularly related to the MITAX process. But yes, certainly, if you're selected for one of these projects, we'll get to know each other, and don't be a stranger. I'm happy to be very hands-on in the development and support of applications for this initiative.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. So in addition to the research stipend, student interns will receive in-kind benefits that are valued at approximately $10,000. From a MITAX perspective, students will receive access to the MITAX Edge training platform. With AMCTO, our main role is really forming some of the connections with the sector. AMCTO is Ontario's largest volunteer association for municipal professionals, over 2,300 members in almost every municipality across this province. So from our side, what we provide is through a student membership for those interns, you'll receive complimentary virtual attendance to AMCTO professional forums. You will also receive a complimentary AMCTO conference registration, including accommodation to our 2027 conference event. I just returned from Deerhurst 2 weeks ago, and we had 3 of our 5 interns at that event, and they made so many valuable connections with people within the sector. And as many of you know, from a student perspective, it's those connections that ultimately will help you in your success in gaining a foothold in your career from a municipal perspective. And you'll also receive access to AMCTO's member affinity programs, our job board, member discussion forums, and other programs like our mentorship program, be able to volunteer on committees. So again, really providing you with an overall platform for engaging the sector. Because ultimately, again, well, certainly Sarah outlined it quite well. It's making or providing those opportunities for municipalities to become innovative and be more innovative in the work they're doing, but also tapping into a pipeline of interested employees. We want you to be working in the municipal sector, and this is one way that we can help facilitate that. So as mentioned previously, there are 12 municipal innovation and/or research projects that are available for matching for post-secondary students. So we've outlined a few of them here on the slide. You can see, sorry, on the next 2 slides. So you'll see, again, a real sort of variety overall in relation to the types of projects that are available, and also geography. So again, you have Durham Region, Peterborough. We have another one from Ottawa, which we had one from Ottawa last year. Owen Sound, Puslinch, Ramera. So again, a lot of variety, sort of spanning sort of Eastern GTA all the way to Western Ontario as well. We don't have any northern ones this year, but we did have one this year as far north as Terrace Bay, which is just outside of Thunder Bay, and that project is going really well right now. So again, a lot of variety overall of projects that are available to you, and these projects are on AMCTO's through the student through the MIIP website. So again, the deadline for the applications is July 24th, and that will be at noon. I know sometimes we all wait till 5 p.m. to do it. Don't wait till 5 p.m. At least wait till 11:59 a.m. on July 24th before you get that application in. But and as I said, we've listed a few of the project titles here. Students will have the ability to apply to up to 3 MIIP projects. So again, if there are a number that you feel that you're qualified for and interested in, you'll have that ability to do that through the website. And it's a fairly seamless application process. You'll be able to sort of identify those top 3, identify your priorities for those projects. Those if you're applying for multiple projects. So that's all available through our website. So any Ontario municipality and post-secondary students studying in Ontario that meet the program eligibility set out in the application guide are encouraged to apply. While students from all academic programs will be considered, preference will be given to students related to local government administration and/or programs of relevance to the individual's municipal projects. So if you're looking through those projects overall, and you see that there's a specific link to maybe something that you're studying within your program, certainly you'll want to look to see if that's a potential for you from an application perspective. While we are looking for a strong caliber of academic students, both from the colleges and universities that can clearly describe their interest in local government as a career and are registered or enrolled as full-time students in an undergraduate college, master's, or PhD program at a publicly funded academic institution in Ontario for the duration of the internship program. So that is from January 1st to August 31st that you are enrolled during that period. And you are legally permitted to reside and work in Canada by the award start date and live in Ontario for the duration of the internship. Other considerations to keep in mind are that this part-time opportunity is intended to run in a hybrid work environment and simultaneously with existing school terms and course load. So second, that the internship requires a maximum of 4 in-person visits by the student to the municipality during the internship. During the internship. So those costs related to the transportation and or any accommodation that you feel is necessary in relation to that visit, those are the responsibility of the student on your end. But just be aware again, it's intended to be a hybrid opportunity, but there will be a requirement for you to visit those municipalities. It is important, especially from an AMCTO perspective, but certainly from a project perspective, that you have that experiential opportunity within the municipality to again understand how they do business, meet some people face to face, and create that collaborative working relationship. In addition, students are asked to include in their application the name of the academic program and post-secondary institution that the student is enrolled in and their expected graduation date, their level of understanding of the municipal sector and clarity around what role they would like to undertake in the municipal project, why it is relevant to their studies, and their interest in pursuing a career in local government. We'll also to include the academic advisor's contact information that you are intending to work with, a ranking of the preference, as I mentioned earlier, if you're applying to more than one program, and anything else that the student deems relevant for the AMCTO review committee to know for its evaluation. We would strongly encourage students to identify an academic advisor as soon as possible, as at the time of application, you will need to identify one from your institution that one has agreed to be actively engaged in the project, is eligible to hold and administer research awards at your academic institution. An example would be the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council, or NSERC, or the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council grants, and has agreed to be responsible for administering the project funding at the academic institution. That means that they've agreed to be the conduit between the academic institution and you for the purposes of remitting payment. Please, you can always contact, and we'll provide Sarah's contact at the end. Please contact MITAX if you have any additional questions related to the role of the academic advisor. So before we turn to key timelines and the Q&A portion, just one more slide of things that students should be aware of. So again, first, students cannot participate in a municipal project if they are employed by that municipality between January 1st and August 31st of 2027. So I know sometimes people have summer employment with that municipality or have in the past. Again, you should be conscious of that fact. You cannot be formally employed by that municipality as part of while you're serving your internship. Second, conflicts may also exist if the student is a current or returning employee of the municipality and the student has family members directly involved in the municipal project. So one way we'll look to address this is all students moving forward into phase 3. So if you're matched with a MITAX with a municipality and you move forward with the MITAX application, is that you will be required to complete a MITAX internship eligibility and conflict of interest declaration form as well as part of that application. So, and as a reminder, the student interns are employees of the affiliated university or college they attend. They will not be considered municipality or employees of the municipality, which is why it's important again to find that suitable academic supervisor so that they can facilitate that payment structure, because the payment will go to the to the university and then allocated from the university. Finally, AMCTO will provide an onboarding webinar in the fall of 2027, and AMCTO and MyTax will conduct evaluation sort of periodically through the internship for the purposes of continuous improvement in the program. So just a few sort of notes just to end that section there. So again, phase two is now live, and student applications will be accepted up until noon on July 24th, 2026. The matching of applications will be done by AMCTO's review committee, which is made up of our AMCTO's management committee and myself. The committee will, with the support of AMCTO staff, review all student applications and identify student matches for each of them. From an evaluation standpoint, applications will be evaluated based on how closely the applicants meet the eligibility criteria, in addition to how closely projects align with MyTax research and innovation program guidelines. For more information or questions about the review and the selection process, please consult pages 9 to 12 of the application guide. AMCTO will notify successfully matched project teams and facilitate an introduction with the project partners, the student, the academic advisor, and the lead municipality for the purposes of providing instructions on how to proceed to phase 3, which is the MyTax application. In phase 3, the funding application will be submitted jointly by the academic student in close collaboration with their academic supervisor and the lead municipality for each of the projects that were approved to move on by AMCTO. As part of the MyTax funding application, the lead municipality and the student will be expected to meet remotely to ensure that all parties are aware of their respective roles in putting the funding application together. To limit the amount of additional work that is needed, best efforts have been made to ensure that all information required by MyTax is collected during the municipal application forms in both phase 1 and phase 2. So again, we're trying to minimize the amount of duplicative information. So a lot of that information may already be collected and available, and all it just has to be moved into a new application. And I will say last year was our first experience with the MyTax application portal. It is a wonderful tool which allows, I think, the parties to be able to work collaboratively overall in that phase three process. So, while it's a tight timeline, there's some great tools there available from MyTax. This isn't their first day on the job. They know what they're doing. So. And the reason why MyTax is involved in the funding application is because the internship leveraged $15,000 in funding from the municipality leading the project's application, and it is matched by MyTax. This funding will be paid, again, via the student's academic institution, and the student's academic supervisor that is identified by the student in phase 2 will ensure that student is compensated for the work that they're doing on the project. So with that, I am going to drop the presentation. I'm going to have a look at my Q&A function to see what questions are in the box. But thank you again for everyone for attending today. I'm old, so I'm going to take my glasses off and see what the actual question is saying. So first question that I have is, what is the process to get the academic advisor ready to supervise? How do we get the school to disperse funding? Trying to understand how and what to ask for from an advisor. I don't know, Sarah, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, happy to answer that question. So the MyTax program is pretty common among the academic institutions. So really the first place to start if you're talking with your advisor about this is to mention that you're interested in applying for a MyTax project, and would they be willing to be the supervisor on that project. The role that they need to take on as the supervisor is primarily, in the case of the municipal internship program, is primarily an administrative role. So they'll be there from an advisory capacity, but the main role that we ask them to take on is to hold the account at the academic institution and interface with the Office of Research at U of T, which is the group at U of T that would be the ones that will um, that will sort of administer the funding back to your professor or supervisor to distribute it to you. So essentially, the all of the institutions that you folks are at will have processes in place to administer my tax funds, and we administer about 20,000 internships a year in Canada. So it's not an uncommon request. Certainly, if you're supervisor is not familiar with my tax, my contact information will be shared as part of maybe has already been shared as part of the webinar. You can get in touch with me and I can connect you with your local advisor for your academic institution who can give them a quick rundown on what the process would be specifically at their institution.
Great, thanks, Sarah. Yeah, and Sarah's contact will be at the end for everyone to see. So next question, again, I think might be for you, Sarah. So if they are accepted into a MyTax Accelerate program separate from the MIIP, and it would probably end in January, are they still eligible to apply for the AMCTO program?
Yep. So you're eligible to hold my tax internships back to back, but not at the same time. So you would need to complete an existing internship before starting your AMCTO internship.
Great. Okay, next from Nathan. So do you have to be in school during the summer months of the internship, so May to August, or is completing the winter term and returning in the fall enough to be considered enrolled throughout the internship? I think I can answer this one is as long as you're considered enrolled within the as a full-time student within the university or your college program, then you are eligible to apply for the internship.
Yeah, and so this would be common, say, if you're an undergraduate student and it's the summer semester, you don't have classes, that is fine as long as you're returning in the fall. If it is a case where you are graduating at the end of June from a degree, then that would make it more complicated. I think you would not be eligible. But as long as you're a returning student going back in the fall, then you would be eligible.
Thank you. So next question is an interesting one. I don't think we've had this one before. It said, "Hi, I'm a youth probation assistant with the Ministry of, I always forget acronyms, so I'll just say CCSS in Kenora, working with Indigenous youth and currently pursuing my degree at York. I'm very interested in applying to the MIIP. Are there projects focused on Indigenous and remote communities, especially in youth services and justice?" So, thanks for the question. We're a bit, we're a little bit at the mercy of our municipal partners, right? So ultimately, we are looking to match innovation and research projects that are occurring at that municipality and things that they're specifically looking to work on. So the projects that you'll see on our website are those that have been submitted to AMCTO and have received sort of an initial review from MyTax in relation to their criteria related to projects. So there's nothing specifically that we're targeting related to those municipalities. My recommendation would be potentially just speak to your municipality. I know there's some great folks at the city of Kenora. Speaking to them a bit about maybe some projects they have within that Indigenous space or in remote communities and with youth, and see if there's an opportunity for maybe a partnership down the road. I don't know, anything else, Sarah, you maybe wanted to add to that, or?
No, nothing to add to that
Okay.
right now. It's certainly within the MIIP program. They are limited by the challenges that the municipalities submit. But for my tax more generally, we do see projects that look like this. And we are able to work with Indigenous communities as a project partner on projects as well too. So um, if you were interested in potentially building your own project that looks like this outside of the MIIP program, that could be something to consider and certainly would be an eligible project as long as you found a partner who's willing to support it.
Yeah, and interesting enough, again, like last year, we had 5 projects. We're thrilled to have more this year. We had one project in Ottawa that had to deal with the experience of Black voices in Ottawa, especially on the youth side. And we also did have, as I mentioned earlier, we had a project in Terrace Bay looking at the implementation of AI in a remote northern community. So we're on sort of both sides of those pieces. This year, it didn't we didn't really receive any in that space, but certainly we're open to those discussions as we go forward. And certainly, as Sarah mentioned, there are opportunities maybe outside of the MIIP that might be available. From Chloe, he said, do you still qualify if I'm graduating in the spring of 2027 and transferring to different institution from for September 2027? Sorry, spring of 2027, transferring in 2027. Sarah, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this really comes down to your individual academic institution and what their policies are. So when we're distributing my tax funds, it's distributed to you as a research stipend, and you are covered for the duration of your internship under the insurance by the academic institution that you're registered at. So if your academic institution, so as you're talking to your supervisor about doing a My Tax project, you would want to bring up that you would be working on it post graduation. Some institutions will do this, others will not. So I think it's something to investigate at your individual institution. Unfortunately, we can't set, there's no kind of blankets eligibility on this because it varies by the academic institution. But essentially, uh, you would need to be able to be covered by the institutional insurance and have a mechanism to be paid during those summer months post graduation. As I said, some institutions will do this. Others would consider you're sort of graduated, you're done, and you would no longer be covered under the insurance or able to be paid as a stipend. So you need to you would need to identify that with your own academic institution.
Yeah, and I think it's a very similar question, the one that
Yeah.
has been stated next. And again, it is a question that we've received, Sarah, as well on our end, even in advance of today's session. Was a lot of people are graduating in June, but moving to a master's program, and that was the that was the advice I think that we had given them. Was yeah, certainly you need to work with that academic or the academic institution to talk about sort of your eligibility and what your intentions are, and also the fact that you may need to obviously identify that you are registered as a student moving into that new program as well in September. So,
Yeah, and certainly like there is yeah, like we can do it as long as there's a mechanism in place at the academic institution to pay you and to insure you. Yeah.
right. Um, I think this again is related. So if Sarah, if our program were to end next summer and we don't return in the fall, would we be able to get my tax funding?
It would be the same situation.
Yeah,
So if you're graduating, identify with your academic institution. If on graduation you're no longer like considered to hold any student status, then that would be a problem. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay, and I think the last one I have here, at least for the moment, is from Andrea. So regarding the municipal visits, are these standardized? Are we expected to stay in the municipality for a couple of days, or could it be the same day visit if we don't live there? So yeah, certainly that is a point of discussion you would want to have with your, if you are matched, you want to have that conversation with the project lead within that municipality. We do try in the application process, we do consider sort of geographic proximity to that municipality. Like for example, with the Terrace Bay one we did last year, most of them were from the applicants were from Northern Ontario, either from Lakehead or sort of northern colleges. So we do try to take some consideration. I think students, as we mentioned earlier, should take some consideration in relation to your ability to actually travel to that municipality. But it will really be dependent on the project manager, what maybe their expectations are for that visit, for that individualized visit, and whether or not maybe need to stay over, spend a couple days there. Some municipalities, we used to run a program where interns were in that municipality for up to 3 months. and they would actually get housing in those municipalities. That's not the expectation here. So it's just something you would have to have a discussion with your project advisor to see what, or with your with the project lead at the municipality to see what their expectations are. Okay, I don't see any additional questions. So with that, I will just say again, sorry, I think I'm going to bring my screen up just because I want to share our contact information. Probably shows my presenter view, but you'll get the gist of it. So uh, if you have so again, on behalf of AMCTO and MyTax, we do want to thank you for joining us. The slides and the recording will be sent to all participants. Please share this information with your colleagues and your peers within academia. I'm sure there are others that are maybe looking for similar types of opportunities as well. A reminder that project applications from students are due July 24th. If you do have any questions going forward, and there probably will be some, please feel free to contact AMCTO and MyTax related to those questions. I certainly will do my best to answer anything from an AMCTO perspective and from a municipal perspective. And Sarah, whose contact is available there as well, certainly has more than enough knowledge in relation to the MyTax requirements and some of those other pieces. And if you come in one door and it's not the right door, Sarah and I were in pretty constant conversation in relation to helping each other sort of navigate through this um, program. So in closing, again, we had five projects last year in this program. I've spoken to many of the interns in this program, actually all five of them, and they are having amazing experiences. The work is going exceedingly well. They've had great relationships with their municipal partners and their advisors as well, and they're finding it quite rewarding overall. And we anticipate nothing different going into this cohort that we're going to bring in 2027. So thank you all for the opportunity, or thank for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about the program. Again, share the information once you have it, and please feel free to contact us if you have any challenges as you go forward. So I'll end there. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, everyone.